Welcome to 20 Minutes with Mike, brought to you by Legal Ease, the ultimate guide on how to survive a law practice. The Chastain Law Office of Gold River, California, and Barking Frogs, your best source for race swag. Go bigger and louder. Now here's your host, Mike Chastain.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to 20 Minutes with Mike. I'm so excited to have you all join us today. I think we have a great show. I'm going to be revisiting habits, the importance of habits. I know I talk about habits all the time, but the truth is that habits are what make you successful, or conversely, can cause you to fail if you have bad habits. So let's get started. All right. I'll tell a little story. So yesterday was Saturday, and I'm in this homicide trial, and as a result of that, there's a lot of things that I got to get done on the weekends, and so I decided that I was going to go do all my jail visits yesterday, and I have people all over the place that I needed to go see, and so I had to drive down to San Joaquin to visit a client in the jail there. It turns out, unbeknownst to me, that they don't do jail visits on the weekend. So that was a couple hours of driving. That was not as productive as I would have liked it to have been. However, it wasn't a wasted day. What I did is, since I was going to be driving down there anyway, I dropped on Audible books the summary of a new bestseller that I saw. At least it's one of the bestsellers on Amazon, called Atomic Habits. Now, I figured I would just get the summary because I have read a ton of books on habits, and what I was really interested in was the meat of the of his theories and his ideas. Because I don't need to know about all the studies. I know all the studies. I've heard about all the studies. I'm not a hard sell. I don't need to be sold on the importance of habits. So he had so Atomic Habits was written by James Clear, and there was a lot of things that I'd heard before in a variety of different books. For example, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg covered a lot of the same material, but he covered it a little bit differently. I recommend all of these books, so I don't think that there's one book has the monopoly on everything. Another book that I really like, Brendan Burchard's High Performance Habits. Again, these all get you to the same place, which is developing good habits so that you can improve. So and then in my book, in Legalese, I talk about habits, routines, systems, the importance of all of these things. So what Atomic Habits covers is not unique. It's not brand new. But he did have a different take on a few things, or a different spin, I should say, that I thought was useful, and so I thought I would go over those, and then put my spin on his spin. The first thing that all of these books talk about in a variety of different ways is, the goal is to improve, right? Wherever you are in your life, whether you're up here or you're down here, wherever you are, whether you're learning a new skill or you're just trying to improve a skill that you already have, the goal's got to be to improve, right? And how do you improve? Well, you improve by practice, you improve by learning, you improve by talking to other people and gaining knowledge. They call it the practice of law because nobody ever truly masters it, in my opinion. Just when you think you've got it nailed, something changes. One of the things that I'm beginning to realize is I'm just getting old, right? Is that a lot of the reference points that I have, things that I would refer to, a lot of the younger people just don't get it. I could talk about a reference to a movie, or I mean, one day I said, we were having an office meeting with our legal staff, and I said, the famous Jim Morrison said, "No one gets out of here alive." Now, if you know Jim Morrison, the Doors, that probably rings familiar to you. But all I got was these blank stares. I said, well, that's a lyric from the Doors. More blank stares. Jim Morrison, more blank stares. So, what my point is that uh, with a new generation, you get different reference points, and referring to Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison probably doesn't work on the X generation. Doesn't work on the younger lawyers. They don't know that music. They don't know that time frame. It's one of the challenges with history. So, what my point is that what might have worked before doesn't necessarily always work now, and so you've got to continually update what you're doing. I'm in front of a jury, and what I'm realizing is that virtually everybody in that jury is younger than I am. Some of them dramatically younger. We got an 18-year-old on the jury. I hope that was a wise decision. I don't know. We'll see. But we have an 18-year-old. I mean, he's younger, several years younger than my youngest child. So the references that I'm making, I'm hoping that they're ringing true with him. I'm hoping that he's recognizing them. But I gotta think on different levels. So the point of all of this is that we never truly master this. The masters of anything, whether it's a guitar player or a writer or whatever, they continue to hone their craft. How do you do that? Well, it's through good habits, right? So the goal of Atomic Habits, the number one thing that he said is that your goal really needs to be to improve 1% every day. If you improve 1% every day, you'll be 37 times better in a year. So if you were to, there's this old story. A an ancient king had told, uh, wanted a new game, and he had offered to anyone if they could come up with a new game, he would be internally grateful. So a slave came up with the idea of chess, develop chess, and the king was like, "Oh, this is the greatest game ever. Let me, how can I repay you?" And he said, "All I want is 1 grain of wheat on the first square, and 2 grains of wheat on the second square, and double that, 4 grains of wheat on the third square, and double it and double it and double it and double it." And at the end of 64, he owned the entire kingdom. That is the power of um, uh, improving a little bit every day. It's the power. It's the same thing with money, right? It accumulates. It grows over time if you invest it wisely. Even if you're only getting a very very small. I mean, back in the day, you used to get a decent return on putting money in the bank. That's not true anymore, but still, anything can grow. The compounding, it's the compounding that is so important, by doing even a little bit every single day. So improving 1% every day. That's nothing new. But that is a concept that is worth reminding people. It's really easy to get stuck in that, oh, just 5 minutes today, that won't do anything. Well, it will. I practice my guitar sometimes only 10 minutes a day. But you know what? That 10 minutes over the course of months and months and months has gotten me to the point where now I'm actually playing pretty well. I can do some chord changes. I can actually play along. I mean, there is noticeable improvement, even though I don't spend a ton of time on it. Focus on systems, not goals. One of the challenges that we have is that we focus on the end result, and it becomes overwhelming. When I was doing adventure racing, when I was standing on the starting line of a 500-mile race or a 10-day race, if I was focused on that distance, it would be so overwhelming that it could be paralyzing. What I did instead is I focused on increments. I focused on getting to the first checkpoint, getting through the first day, getting through the first night, getting through, from, I remember one time I was doing a 24-hour mountain bike race. And at one point, I was hurting. And so I just focused on going from tree to tree. And the trees were only like 10 feet apart, but I was like, I just got to get to that next tree. All right, I'm at there. Now I get to the next tree. Now I get to the next tree, get up the next hill. Okay, I'm up at that hill. Now I go down, go up the next hill. So, it's just focusing on little increments, focusing on the system, focusing on just doing the habit, just doing the practice. Okay, I'm just going to practice this today. I'm not going to worry about where it's going to get me. I'm not going to worry about playing the song. I'm not going to be worried about finishing the race. I'm not going to be worried about, um, getting through the whole thing. I'm just going to do a little bit every day. I'm going to focus on the system that I put in place. I mean, this trial that I'm in, for example, there's 61 named witnesses. I had to prepare for 61 witnesses. That could be pretty overwhelming. Um, but I just went through my process. I just kind of grind through the process, just keep, knocking a few off every day until pretty soon I have everything that I need. Create a successful environment. Okay, this is a really good one that I think a little bit it's overlooked. Your environment will make a huge difference in your productivity, right? If your environment is set up in a way that it encourages you to do the habit that you're trying to improve. So, for example, if you come to my house, you will see there are guitars and basses and ukuleles all over the place. Why? Because I want to be encouraged to pick it up and play a riff, play a few chords. Sometimes I'm watching TV, especially if it's not something I'm really into. Every commercial, boom, 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 boom. I'm playing some chords. I'm just doing some transitions. I'm working on a little riff. I'm working on a little lick. Um, Reading. There's books all over my house. Why? Because I want to make it really inviting, and I have places that I like to read. E has her lazy girl chair, which is super comfortable and set up with the lights and the table, so you can have your drink, and you can look outside, and it's just such a great environment for reading. My office is such a great environment for me doing the work that I need to do. Setting up your environment, make your systems visible. He did come up with something that I hadn't heard before that I thought was really, talking points. Other books talk about it, but I thought that it was really helpful. He called it the 4 points of developing a good habit. Make it obvious. So, in other words, if you want to learn to play the guitar, have your guitar out. I have it sitting on a stand, plugged into the amp, with the tuner on it. I don't have to do anything except for pick it up. I don't have to go get it out of the box. I don't have to go get it out of the closet. It is available. It's obvious. If I'm reading a book, that book is always available. It is always obvious. It's either on the nightstand or I carry them with me. If I'm, going to do a jail visit, I know if I'm doing a jail visit, I'm going to be sitting waiting for my clients to come up. It's not like, they show up instantly. I may have 10 minutes of waiting. What am I doing? I'm reading a book. Okay. Or I've got those things available. So make it obvious, make it attractive. One of the things that I've talked about, when journaling, for example, this is my journal. This is a beautiful cover, right? I mean, it speaks to me. It may not speak to you, but it speaks to me. It's nice leather. It's beautiful. The paper is really nice. I use good writing instruments, nice fountain pens. They're not necessarily expensive. This is not a real expensive fountain pen, but this is a really nice fountain pen. Each of these write well. I have several of them because different moods. I want to write with different color inks or different, just a different smoothness. Um, Make it attractive. Make it something that feels good to you. When I decided to start playing the guitar, I went out and I bought a guitar that I liked. That I could be proud of, that felt good in my hands. I have several basses because I wanted ones that felt good in my hands, and different ones feel different ways at different times. So make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy on yourself. Don't start off with something that's way over your head to get frustrated. Make it easy. Make the time frame easy. Maybe you start with 5 minutes. Maybe you start with 10 minutes. Don't say, okay, I'm going to learn to play the guitar. I'm going to practice for 2 hours every day. No, you're not. As nice as it would be to be able to do that, you're not going to do that. So make it easy. Give yourself a break. And then for one thing that he doesn't add is forgive yourself when you miss a day. Don't beat yourself up. And then make it satisfying. Make it so that it is something that you really want to do. And at the end of the day, you feel good about it. At the end of the practice, you feel good about it. You feel like you've accomplished something. You've made that little step forward. Even if it's only a teeny tiny increment, you've made a step forward. One of the things that really helps, he talks about having a habit tracker. Now, there's a million different ways to do that. But one of the ways that I do it on my journal is down at the bottom of each week. I put the things that I definitely want to do. I know it's kind of hard to see that, but it says exercise, meditation, intention, gratitude, read, music, and money. These are all things that I want to do. I look at my bank account every day. I write my gratitude journal. I try to exercise. I meditate. I set my intentions, and I try to read. And then I just put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a little circle, and then I fill those in. That is how I track it. That's how I'm at 104 days in a row of meditating right now. I don't exercise every single day. That's fine. I don't write my gratitude journal every day, but I probably do it 6 days a week. I read pretty much every day, not every single day. I don't pick up my guitar every single day. I actually probably do pick it up every day, but I don't necessarily practice with it. I might, strum just a few licks. I don't necessarily consider that a practice, but a practice a habit tracker, real valuable. You want to drink water, just mark it off. I'm drinking, so that it reminds you, and it reminds you if you didn't do it, go, okay, let's get right back on the horse. The 2-minute rule, realize that you can start any habit in 2 minutes. Any habit in 2 minutes. You can meditate for 2 minutes. You can write in a journal for 2 minutes. You can do a gratitude journal for 2 minutes. You can just do gratitude for 2 minutes. Just sit back and think, what am I grateful for? For 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes every day. You absolutely have 2 minutes every day. Habit linking and habit stacking, very similar things, but linking a new habit that you're trying to develop to a habit that you already have. So, putting your book next to your toothbrush. Put your book in the bathroom, right? You're going to use the bathroom, so put it there. Put things in, link them to things that you're already doing already. Habit stacking is just, do the thing that you have to do and use that as a reminder to do the thing that's the new habit. Temptation bundling. So basically, you do the new habit that you're trying to do, and then you reward yourself with something like I'm gonna meditate for 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna watch Netflix. All right. Hopefully the thing is, though, that the new habit shouldn't be, it should really be the reward. If you do it right, it will develop into the reward. I know a lot of people hate exercising, but if you exercise on a regular basis, it will be the reward at some point. I love going for a bike ride. That is the reward for me. I don't need to be rewarded for that, but not everybody's the same as I am. So, that would be what that is. Temptation bundling. So hook the habit to a reward. Um, hook it to a behavior, hook it to a time, hook it to a location. And then, the last thing that he said that I thought was really powerful was, focus on the start, not on the finish. Focus on just starting. Even as much as I love to ride the mountain bike, or play the guitar, or play music, some days it's just hard to do it. And if I can just force myself to get on the bike and go, okay, I'm gonna ride to the end of the street, and we'll just see how things go. Um, 99.9 times out of 100, I will just keep going because I'm like, okay, I'm out here and let's go. I'm picking up the car. All right, I'm gonna do the drill or whatever it is that I'm practicing. Um, if I'm working on the thing, all right, I'm sitting down at my desk and I'm just gonna, all right, I'm going to get this done. I'm doing, whatever that chore is. So here's the bottom line, because we're just about out of time. The buzzer's gonna go off in 2, 1. There it goes. Um, Habits are what will change your life. Doing a good habit every single day, or multiple times a week. Maybe you're not going to exercise 7 days a week. You're going to exercise 3 days a week. That will be your habit. But working on improving a little bit every day. You don't have to improve in giant jumps, just a little bit, and the compounding of that will make such a monumental difference in your life that you just won't recognize who you are in a year from now if you stick to you know the habit that you're working on, the improvement, doing a little bit of improvement every single day, whether it's reading, meditating, exercising, diet, whatever. Getting enough sleep. Getting enough sleep. So anyway, everybody, I hope this has been helpful. If you have any comments or questions, or there's anything else that you would like me to cover on the Facebook page, put it in the comments. You can catch me on YouTube on the Mike Chastain page, or on my webpage, MikeChastain.com. I hope you all have a great week. And just remember, be grateful for what you have and be willing to work for what you want. All right, everybody, take care. Bye now.